Have you ever imagined at what extent a human being stops being human anymore and turns into a complete demon or animal, that he starts brutally killing other human beings without thinking even once? What turns a social creature like human being into a complete merciless animal? What makes a human being to kill another human being? After going through the entire video, you'll find the answers to these questions, because this is a tale of horrifying act which raises questions on the existence of humanity in human beings. That is it true that a human being is a human being until he is compelled? This story is not for those with faint heart, because it contains some extreme act of violence. If you are one of them, please, I suggest you to stop watching. 2nd February 1980, Penitentiary or Prison of New Mexico, south of Santa Fe. This prison of Mexico is men's maximum security prison. It is one of the largest prisons in the Mexico, which has the capacity to keep some of the deadliest criminals like murderers, rapists, worst sex offenders. In other words, this prison is a cage for some animals who are not meant to walk free in the society. The prison has multi-block cells based on the nature of the crime. The level 6 block is a block for those prisoners who are on the death row or are to be executed soon. The prison has about 960 seats for prisoners, which means only 960 inmates can be adjusted comfortably. The inmates in the prison were complaining about unhygienic food, bad sanitation, overcrowding, and excessive torturing by prison officers. Whenever they raised their voices about their bad conditions, they were suppressed with force. Even some of them were shot dead immediately on the spot. Officers kept some inmates as snitch to bring some secret information of other inmates, or information about the internal happenings of the prison. The conditions in the level 6 where the prisoners with death row were kept was even worse. The multi-layered dormitory was crowded beyond its capacity. Prisoners has to follow their daily prison routine, like waking up, exercise, breakfast, finishing the work assigned to them, such as construction and painting the walls, things like that. Like that, the last activity is counting the inmates when they return to their cell. 2nd February, Saturday at 1:40 a.m. Prisoners were queued after lunch. This was the time when prison cells were open. Officers were busy. Group of inmates took advantage of the situation, and this broke into one of the world's tragic and horrific prison riots. They attacked one cell block to another, brutally beaten two guards who were counting the inmates, took the keys from them, and within minutes the riot began. The whole prison turned into a complete mayhem. The entire prison was filled with loud echoing and screams of fighting. Inmates unlocked the cells. Guards were taken hostage. The worst gangs of prison went out of control, who were no less than animals. These gangs' main target were the snitches, who shared secret information. They tortured them, mutilated them, and burnt them alive. The guards who were encouraging snitching were either brutally killed, beaten, or kept hostages. 33 prisoners were badly killed, some of them not in the condition to be identified. 200 were badly injured. 3 guards were killed and 13 others were kept hostages. It was so horrendous that narrating the whole scene as it was would be so offensive and inappropriate. However, the prison was practically destroyed. The gymnasium, psychiatric offices, and an on-site church were burnt. The walls and floors were coated in blood. There were axe marks on the wall, with which they chopped the bodies of those called snitches. It is revealing only a hint of bloodbath that took place on that day. For nearly a day, inmates overpowered the entire prison. Next day, the state police came and took the control. On 19th July 1922, the similar incident had occurred in the same prison. Reasons were the same: overcrowding, poor sanitation, torturing, killings of prisoners, and bad food. There was another incident a month after 1980's riot in which a guard was stabbed and killed. The prisoners again reported the same problem about their conditions. In my opinion, every human being, not only prisoners, if they are pushed beyond their limit, they will lose control. They will either break down or turn into a complete animal to survive. Those prisoners in the cell were already going through the appropriate punishments as per the law. If they are kept there as alive inmates, then it was the authorities' duty to take care of it peacefully and provide them in their remaining days before their execution. After all this, if you still remain unanswered, then always remember, a human being is really dangerous when he has nothing to lose and nothing to gain. If he is pushed to his level, he can no doubt turn into a complete animal. And a prison is the place where a human being counts his days. There he is, at the same state of nothing to lose, nothing to gain. At this moment, he loses his very sense of human morality and does what his instinct guides, just like an animal. Prison authorities should have a common sense of not to do anything which turns these animals into even more animal. What are your opinions? Please let me know in the comment box, and please subscribe to this channel.